Welcome back to Boxing Unwrapped. Now, listen, if you're new here, please subscribe, like, and comment down below. Real quick, why Spence and not Bud, right? That's the question. There's a couple of things that you can right off the bat check off. Now, it's money, right? Look, at the end of the day, Spence is the guy. Spence is the draw. If you go back to the Bud versus Spence fight, it did 600,000 to 700,000, if I'm not mistaken. Now, up until that point, Bud's biggest draw was like 150,000, something like that, pay-per-view buys, if that. Maybe 200. I may be giving him more. Consistently, Spence had been bringing in about 300 in his last two, 300,000. We're fighting guys that we knew, but they weren't blockbuster guys, right? But I mean, that's what he was doing. So he was obviously the draw, and in Dallas, he was the big guy, the big main event. And so in Dallas, he was setting out the gate, big events, big arenas, right? Something that again Bud had never done on that scale, right? Bud has fought in his hometown and other small venues and sold that out. It's not the same as selling out AT&T Stadium, right? I believe it's AT&T Stadium. I'm not sure. Just fact check me on that. In the aftermath of the Zoo fight, everybody thought it was gonna be a Zoo rematch, but that was only a verbal agreement. It was never written. Spence showed interest. That's when you saw in the ring itself. It was like switch. Yeah, let's go with Spence. Why? Well, Spence was the draw before the Bud fight. After the Bud fight, the ass whooping that he got, you would think that he would drop in popularity and in interest, but no. The ass whooping that Bud gave him made him more intriguing. Is he gonna be the same? Is he gonna be the same Spence? Can he come back? Bud inadvertently wrote a story for Spence, right? He wrote a story. Whether or not Spence is gonna come back looking the same is irrelevant. The story's there. The interest is there. There's no interest in Bud. There never has been. Not because he doesn't have the skill set, because he doesn't have he has a personality of a log. I'm not saying that Spence is like, Ric Flair, because he's not. But just a little bit that he does have sells a whole lot more. Hence, Spence versus Fundora. It was like, oh man, he got stripped by the WBO. He's gonna get stripped if he doesn't fight Bud, because Bud is the number one contender. Because remember, the WBO has a rule that if you go up in weight and you're the champion, you're the super champion, you get to contend and you get to fight for the title at the higher weight class. You become number one. Why would Fundora give it up? Again, Fundora made a life decision. Fundora has had a tough fight with Lubin, got cracked and knocked out, and he came back and had a crazy tough fight with Zoo. So in big fights, he's 2-1. His style it lends for great fights, great interest. Tower Inferno versus Spence, the comeback kid. Can he do it? That's the storyline. Fundora said, if I fight Bud, even as the champ, I get nothing. I get scraps. What were they gonna hold that at? That he was gonna draw anything? No, nowhere. But Spence in Dallas sells out immediately. He gets part of that gate. He's the champ. He should get the most money, especially coming off the loss that Spence has. I'm sure they negotiated that. Pay-per-view buys, they could do 400, 500,000. For Fundora, that's a lot. For Spence, that's an average day at the office. It's a no-brainer decision on why it should be Spence and not Bud. Bud has done himself no favors in his career by not engaging with the public, not having a persona that was engaging, not catering sometimes to the fans who have made him, because they're the ones that pay for the fights, they're the ones that pay for the tickets, for the pay-per-views. They put him up there, and he does nothing in return to make you feel you should support him emotionally, right? We know he has a skill set, but his resume is trash, except for Spence. We're going to see, was it the weight, or was it the wars a little bit for Spence and those car accidents in between and the lifestyle he's left that we all hear about that he lives outside of the boxing ring? Was that what happened and caught up to him on that fight? Can he reverse that? Can he show that it was all a fluke? That's what we want to see. You see again, story built in. That's what happened now. So thanks to Bud, Spence off a loss gets to fight for a title, maybe two, and make a really big payday. The only thing that Bud has left is if he beats his next opponent, and if he does fight for the WBO and gets two, there's an automatic rematch at 154 with Spence. And if Spence does good against Fundora, Guess who's gonna be the favorite in the rematch? Probably not Bud. That sounds crazy. Guess who's gonna get the lion's share? It's gonna be Spence. It sounds crazy, and the rematch may never happen because, again, Bud will think he deserves a bigger pot when he's never gonna prove that he's the draw. That's what Fundora is fighting Spence and not Bud. It's a financial decision. It's the right decision, and Bud did himself no favors ever to put himself in play for people to seek him out. That's why Canelo really wants no part of him. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for him. He was willing to fight Spence though. He was on the table for that fight deal, those deals of fights he had with PBC. Spence was a name, not Benavidez. Why? Because Spence sells. You think he wants to fight Bud? Nah. Bud can't draw blood at the doctor's office. He definitely ain't gonna make, Canelo rich. And plus, Canelo knows he's gonna be the one that brings in all the money, so he's gonna be doing Bud the favor instead of the opposite. That's just what it is. It's financials. It's the right decision. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me or not. Do you think that's the reason why? Or should the WBO strip Fundora? If not, let me know what you think. In the comments down below. See you in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.